holding shape, what I see a lot of people not understand is you just need to heat treat it more. Or you might be working with really low, spongy foam.
Or in the case of you're working with fabric underneath the cosplay, you'll have a very hot cosplay, which I can't exactly say is applicable, especially if it burns down your studio.
Right. So the thing you really want is like a good heat gun, you know, one that's able to get, I think it's like 100 degrees. Yeah. I know some people will try to use like a hair dryer or something. That's not going to do it. And please don't use any open flame. Please be safe, you know. But we do heat treating for two reasons. We do it to shape it, right? To hold that shape. But we also do it even if it's like you're gonna make a blade and your piece is already straight, you wanna seal the foam. And that will hold it for adhesives and will hold it for paints and other things that you're gonna put on later. And it's where you see the fibers like tighten up, you know? And on like spongier foam, you'll see the fibers more. On denser foam, it's more packed together, thus dense. Yeah. What's up?
When the foam kind of seals up, does that mean it shrinks?
So, you want to take it, yeah?
It can shrink if you burn it a little bit more. If you go a little bit past when it melts on the outside, depending on the quality, the lower quality foam shrinks more. It's funny that you mention that because sometimes on really rare occasions, I've actually chosen to shrink something intentionally to get it to the right spot. Like say bevels on a piece of armor. If one of the bevels maybe is just a little bit bigger than the others, there have been times where I actually over heat gun it in the hopes of shrinking it just enough to match the others, and that is a viable tactic. So when you're doing heat gun, depending on the quality of the foam, you kind of have to account for a tiny bit of shrinkage.
Yeah, and the other thing I was gonna say that is it's really proportional to the piece. So if you're working with a small piece, you know, if you're measuring something really long, it might shrink like a tiny bit, but it's not something that I'm usually very concerned about. You can always, like, you have your pattern and you have the piece and you can kind of coil around, you know. But we'll also talk about things like foam clay. If you are short on a piece and you need to just fill the gap a little bit. There was another point that was gonna make too.
Well, most of the time, even when you're getting